I'm Terry Utain, Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Wexler Packaging Products. As I thought about where to begin today, I spent a lot of time reflecting on how I got to where I am, how I became a woman in the packaging industry on a mission to share sustainable solutions with the world. I thought back to challenges I endured, triumphs I had, motivators, inspirations. And with that, one thing stood out to me that was said during an interview with Wexler Packaging almost 20 years ago. I was interviewing for a customer service position, and when I asked, "Where can I go from here?" I was told, "The sky's the limit." There we go. I consider myself to be a driven, self-motivated person determined to not only achieve goals, but to crush them. I've definitely had both successes and challenges throughout my career, but I took those 4 words as a challenge in itself to push boundaries, break barriers, and let my passion for this industry and my career shine through in hopes of helping other women know it's possible. Wexler Packaging is a small business located outside of Philadelphia that helps other companies find alternative sustainable packaging solutions. It was started by a man named Max Wexler in 1974. At that time, the company was focused on gum tape and gum tape machines, as well as self-seal paper bands. Now, it shifted its focus to automatic banding machines and materials, linerless labeling systems, strapping machines, shrink wrap systems, and so much more. It has always been a family-owned business which prides itself on integrity, quality, and service. So get this, according to Packaging Digest, in 1976, less than 5% of the packaging industry was held by women. This is right around the time that Patty Wexler, now president of Wexler Packaging, joined her father's company as lead sales representative. Today, as Patty enters her 4th decade in this industry, that number is almost 40%. Endless barriers have been knocked down in the packaging industry over the last 40 years, and I like to think that packaging pioneers like Patty had a hand in that. As leaders of this company, our mission is to provide alternative packaging and bundling solutions to all industries, with commitment to delivering products and services exceeding expectations, ever conscious of the changing needs of the industry. And as many of you know, this industry is certainly always changing. As a women-owned business dedicated to sustainability, we take pride in our core values that make us stand out from the rest. For instance, no matter what time it is, our technical service team is always available to take calls and ensure our machines are working exactly as they should. Our customers are never alone. With 24/7 support and an access to a team of trained solution advisors, we ensure that any new equipment integration goes smoothly and that our clients never have to navigate the packaging world alone ever again. We have been helping producers across the United States make the best possible decisions for decades. Businesses have come to trust us as more than just a supplier, but as a partner. So why? Because getting to the top is never easy, but getting there without leadership, it's nearly impossible. We are proud to have grown our knowledge of this industry while maintaining our commitment to sustainability. We are proud to be industry leaders in the fields of alternative packaging solutions. We have built strong relationships with our partners, ensuring that we can provide our customers with unparalleled service. Every packaging decision a business makes is either going to help or hurt the environment. By planting a seed with Wexler, companies are offered the opportunity to make a change to their business while reducing the negative impacts that it has on the planet. When Patty Wexler joined her father's company in 1978, it was a much different operation at that time. After 10 years in the medical field, she decided to go into sales, which is when her dad suggested that she come and work for him. He really showed her the ropes and taught her how to sell. Because there were not many women in the field at the time, he advised her to seek out other avenues. She tested the waters of a few other sales opportunities before realizing that Wexler is where she was meant to be. She visited shipping departments and loading docks and various facilities to get as much first-hand experience as she could, and soon realized that there are no other women in the field doing that. She really had to manage that. Patty recalls her conscious efforts at things like avoiding certain clothing and having to go above and beyond to find the best solutions and make sure she knew what she was always talking about. She had to prove herself. The company has always focused on niche products and equipment. This is what set us apart from other packaging companies and allowed Wexler to make a name for itself. The company became incorporated in 1997, which is when Patty officially became president of Wexler Packaging Products. At that time, it was just her and her parents running the company. It wasn't until business with the banding equipment took off that she began hiring employees. It was a struggle at times because large packaging distributors were buying really big quantities that Patty couldn't compete with. With banding, she had the luxury of being able to stand out. She found the value in our products and would make it a point to show other people that value and how they could save by switching to an alternative solution. Patty's dedication and growing knowledge of packaging lent a sense of curiosity to the male-dominated industry. In terms of meeting with customers, I think men were curious to see what she had to say and would rather have a conversation talking to a woman. On the vendor side, it was difficult for her at times. She encountered men that really didn't want to see her grow, yet she still recalls her overall experience a very positive one. Because of her hard work and motivation, she had so many people on her side. She had a lot of people who really wanted to see her soar and mentored her and helped her along the way. Yes, she had to work harder to prove herself. Patty really had to wow people with her knowledge and be able to capture their attention, but it only made her that much stronger. Patty's enthusiasm and drive has shaped this company into a successful business that now employs over 20 people who all care about its success. So, the road that got me to where I am today, it wasn't always easy, but it's given me one of the most rewarding outcomes. I believe in order to be in sales, you need to not only be knowledgeable about your products, but you need to have passion. I would never be able to sell something that I didn't wholeheartedly believe in. Navigating this industry over the last 20 years and following the environmental issues happening around the world, it just makes sense. There's room for improvement in the packaging industry, and being able to offer solutions centered around savings, sustainability, and reducing our carbon footprint, it's a gratifying position to be in. Prior to Wexler Packaging Products, I found myself so inspired by a teacher when I was growing up that I said, yes, that's what I want to be. So I went to school to be a kindergarten teacher. After receiving a job in that field, I found it very hard to make ends meet. So I went out and I got a second job in retail. I quickly realized that I couldn't just go in and be a retail associate. It simply wasn't in my DNA. I was soon promoted to assistant manager, then promoted to manager, and then district manager. I was managing 11 stores in the blink of an eye. I realized that this was part of my purpose, to be in the business world instead of a teacher. But I really believe there was a reason for that part of my life. Having the inner teacher inside of me has solidified the passion and given me the tools for what I love most about what I do: educating customers on sustainable packaging and mentoring new sales reps. My journey with Wexler Packaging Products began in 2002 when I came in to interview for a customer service role. In my past experiences, I had been in position for room for growth and found myself quickly advancing. During my interview, I asked, "So what's next?" Patty looked at me and she said, "Well, you can sit in my big black chair." And my response was, "Challenge accepted." The idea to hire from within came up, and I was still on my quest to that big black chair. So after being approached about this change, I reached out to a sales training center, signed up for a class, and the rest was history. I then began working in outside sales in the Northeast Territory. I quickly became Patty's first successful sales rep outside of herself. I showed interest in trade shows, which led her to really take me underneath her wing. She taught me the setup and the breakdown and running the booth. She truly was my mentor. She went on sales calls with me. Sometimes we stopped for frozen yogurt on the way back. She trained me on how to sell and turned me into a leader not unlike herself. She showed me why it was important in this industry to know what you're talking about and be confident and always to be taken seriously. It can sometimes feel like we get the short end of the stick. I personally experienced two sides to being a woman in the packaging industry. I either landed meetings with companies because I was a woman, and this male-dominated industry was open to listening to me. And on the other end, it was hesitation. I would hear comments like, is there somebody else that could help me? It was those encounters that motivated me into making sure I have the knowledge to prove that, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. And this thing that I believe in, it can make a difference for you. I've certainly faced challenges throughout my career. Years ago, I dropped in on a customer just for a visit. It was unannounced. I walked in through the front door, and the owner of the company had like a dog in the lobby of the facility, and he leaned down to the dog and he said, "Sicker," and the dog went right up to my leg and bit through my nylons. But to his surprise, that didn't scare me away. I stayed because I was still determined to say what I needed to say. I felt myself in a position where he was trying to intimidate me because I had come announced and he didn't need anything. If that were a guy, one, I don't think they'd be put in that situation, and two, not sure they'd have the courage to stay. And while I may have had to buy new nylons after that meeting, I thank that man for teaching me a lesson. I was able to use this experience as a learning lesson. I realized that not all customers like to be sold to in the same way. Some customers like to reach out to you when they need something. Others need a little more hand-holding, like some communication. And they're all different, and it's really up to me to get to know my clients, build relationships, and maintain them according to their desires. But with challenges come victories, right? I still remember that time I walked into a huge company with nothing but a brochure to talk about banding. I just happened to get in the right ear of the right person, and after many conversations, we decided to work together on an automation project. In 2004, shortly after diving into the world of sales, I sold that company my first piece of automation. Wexler Packaging has always been on the track of constant growth and evolution. In the late 80s, the business climate was changing, and large packaging distributors were growing. It became necessary at that time for Patty to broaden our territory and focus on our niche, which was banding. This is when she brought a new focus to Wexler with an emphasis on selling banding machines. Since Patty took the company in that direction, we have experienced continuing growth in sales and profitability. In 2007, after decades of being dedicated to finding our customers the most sustainable solutions, we broadened the company's focus in terms of the product line by trademarking Go Green with Banding. Today, we sell niche-specific equipment supporting materials and related machine parts, everything from hand-applied self-sealed paper bands to fully automated banding and labeling machines and materials. In the banding area, we proudly represent ATS Tanner of Switzerland and 45% of the United States, including Puerto Rico. We also represent Ravenwood Packaging, a UK-based company which is bringing innovative labeling solutions to the food industry. They allow us to offer companies linerless labeling systems that apply labels with no paper backing. Both of these partnerships were a perfect fit for what our company stands for, going green and reducing packaging. Today, we serve many industries, including manufacturing, graphics, corrugated, food, pharmaceutical, laundry, and logistics. Being well-rounded in our abilities allows more room for growth and allows us to reach further on our mission to sustainable packaging. Over the years, we've developed a group of theories and concepts that allow us to give customers and prospects real-life examples of what our solutions could do. Bundling integrity. Processes like shrink wrapping can damage products by pulling and bending panels during the heat process. Unlike shrink wrap, the banding process provides straight panels for a perfect bundle. Linerless labeling applies labels with no paper backing, producing less waste, replacing cardboard sleeves and pressure-sensitive labels. This, not that. Our way of saying that reducing waste is more than what you throw away. We replace materials such as poly bags, rubber bands, strapping, inner cartons, and shrink wrap with paper or poly bands. It's proven to be more sustainable and cost-effective. And zero damage. It means preventing overruns and eliminating damage caused by using traditional rigid strapping. Edges are protected using a polypropylene band as opposed to a plastic strap, which can dig into the top two and the bottom two of the stack. And then display-ready packaging, also known as shelf-ready packaging, allows for a better position of products by replacing four-sided cases with display-ready cases secured using only a single band. And finally, we have trademarked Go Green with Banding. Simply put, less waste equals less burden on the environment. We are committed to offering waste reduction solutions through the use of paper and poly banding. We believe that a commitment to the environment should not be a financial burden to a company, but rather an opportunity to explore alternative packaging solutions, like banding. Banding also helps to reduce waste while passing on significant cost savings. The fact that we own this trademark, we recognize our responsibility to conduct business in a way that protects and improves the state of the environment for future generations. This sustainability goal we constructed has three components we adhere to with every prospect we communicate with. One, we're committed to providing all industries with sustainable packaging and bundling solutions that reduce waste and promote material conservation. Two, we offer quality equipment and products that are both cost-effective and dedicated to encouraging sustainable practices, effective and help to minimize the environmental footprint. And three, we are dedicated to encouraging sustainable practices and take a leadership role in educating our employers, our suppliers, our customers, and prospects about the best solutions for achieving environmental excellence in packaging. Okay, so we all know that while careers are important and can be an essential focus in life, life can certainly throw some curveballs at you. Shortly after getting my sea legs in the packaging industry and becoming a dedicated member of the Wexler family, I was also starting a family of my own. I had a child who needed my undivided attention for medical reasons, and I found myself taking a leave of absence from my career. As a mother, first and foremost, I had sacrifices to make that I don't think most people are faced with. Balancing a family and a career was never going to be a challenge in my mind. But for my oldest son, who needed his mother, I soon became a caretaker, a nurse, and much more than I ever anticipated. I may not have realized it at the time, but my son has undoubtedly been my inspiration to get me to where I am today. Looking back, all of the worst moments that could possibly happen in my life have already passed. I remind myself this of every day, that while it has been challenging being a woman, trying to build a career in this industry, and having to prove myself, nothing compares to watching your child go through something traumatic. In 2007, Wexler Packaging Products became WeBank certified. With the company becoming a part of the Women Business Enterprise National Council, there were many requirements associated with that certification, including registering and maintaining supplier diversity accounts. In 2008, I started dipping my toes back into the Wexler waters by helping with managing these accounts and doing some computer work from home a few days a week. That grew into coming to the office part-time, which then turned into coming to the office full-time. Full-time eventually turned into becoming the director of supplier diversity, which progressed into sales management, where I began hiring and training and mentoring new sales reps. From there, in 2016, I was named Vice President of Sales Marketing and received part ownership of the company. Being a woman, I was challenged with the things that I needed to handle from a personal level, but that never stopped me. In some of the most challenging and difficult times of my life, I found a way to become the best version of myself. So why is sustainability so important? Why is this a topic that needs our attention? Sustainability focuses on meeting the present needs of the environment without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. Our sustainability initiatives are rooted in a belief that a commitment to the environment isn't a burden, but rather an opportunity to explore alternative packaging solutions. Again, less waste means less burden on the environment. So in 2018, we conducted a case study with a large contract pharmaceutical company. They were looking to find an automated solution that reduced material, reduced labor, and reduced energy costs. We replaced their shrink wrapper with paper banding using our completely automated corner line system. And the results? Well, 11% savings on material costs. 5 employees were repurposed, saving them $200,000 per year. And then we were able to save them over $600 per week in energy. They needed a return on investment that was under 2 years, and we were able to achieve this in 17 months. I've always found myself to be goal-oriented and knew that I wanted a career, but honestly, I didn't always see myself in the packaging industry. After a few years of success with this company, my turning point really came when my two worlds intertwined, and I suddenly found a parallel between my personal life and my professional life. When I was having my first child, my nurse's husband worked for a large pharmaceutical company that we were working with at the time. I remember laying there, mid-push, telling my nurse that we were working with that very same company on a piece of automation. The passion that I developed for this industry and the company, it was just in me. It became who I am. I no longer walk into a store and simply shop. I walk through a store and see opportunities and find products that could benefit from a better solution. When my first child became sick and they sent me home with different machines and medications and equipment, I was so overwhelmed. Like, who wouldn't be, right? I didn't know what I was going to do or how I was going to handle it. But then I began looking at it from a solution standpoint. I was able to equate the machine setup to the setup of a banding machine. It was comforting having that background and the ability to step back, apply my prior knowledge to the situation in front of me, and put one step in front of the other. Becoming WeBank certified certainly has opened up doors for us in this industry. Wexler Packaging Products has been a women-owned business since 1997, and WeBank certified as of 2007. Holding the certification over the last 12 years has allowed us to offer and receive great business opportunities to companies that see the importance of supplier diversity. The number of women in leadership positions in the packaging industry is on the rise, and I'm proud to be part of that upward movement. I think that organizations like WeBank have really helped with that upward mobility and paved the way for the women-owned companies just like ours. They are acknowledging the fact that women are minorities in industries, and larger corporations are allocating a certain amount of funds per year to minority suppliers. NJPEC, the New Jersey Packaging Executives Club, it's another organization that has helped to launch myself and our company into a new realm of opportunities. I became a board member of NJPEC along with one of our regional sales reps, Kristen Shaner. This has put us in a position to further diversify the industry and influence our perspective as women onto packaging. The more diversity you can bring into an organization, the more valuable your input becomes and can progress. In this industry specifically, women bring a certain level of life experience that allows us to contribute a unique perspective regarding consumers' views of packaging and their thought process. There is an economic value for gender diversity. World Economic Forum reports that gender-diverse companies achieve better outcomes from business decisions 73% of the time. What do you think the percent is of an all-male workforce? Anybody? 58% of the time. Greater gender diversity can positively impact competitiveness, lead to higher employee satisfaction and retention, open new doors, and lead to greater innovation. We are committed to promoting women in the industry and showing other women our passion for sustainable solutions. I take pride in mentoring young women like our sales rep, Kristen Shaner. She came into the Wexler family almost 10 years ago, not having any prior knowledge to the industry. And last year, she completed the sale of the first 2 automated laundry banding systems in the US. Wexler Packaging developed a scholarship program in hopes of encouraging more women to enter this industry. The Lillian and Max Wexler Scholarship Fund was established in 2014 by Patty Wexler in honor of her parents, Max and Lillian, who started this company. Lillian always felt it was important for her daughter to give back and help create opportunities for other women to achieve their goals. Patty always says, just as my dad opened doors for me in this business, my hope is that assisting these young women in their education will do the same. The scholarship supports a full-time female student pursuing a degree in business. So my advice to women on the path to that big black chair, the sky is the limit. You have the ability to write your own story, and you are in control of your own chapters. If you have determination and perseverance, which were qualities that were instilled into me at a young age, you can be a leader. You can crush your goals. You can work to become knowledgeable in this industry and prove others wrong. My hope for the future of women in packaging, that we get to a point where there aren't special topics or separations like male-dominated industries or women in packaging, where it simply is the packaging industry on all levels. I'm Tara Utain, a woman in packaging offering sustainable solutions.